talk about a little bit too. Today marks the beginning of Passover, a Jewish holiday with a rich, very rich, not just the food-wise, but a very rich cultural tradition. And joining us now to tell us more about the celebration is Rabbi Devorah Marcus. And Rabbi, thanks for joining us
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Yeah, okay, you're from the Temple Emmanuel, right?
Yep.
Kind of near San Diego State.
Yep.
Just give us a brief little, for those that don't know, why we celebrate Passover.
So it's a great question. Passover is one of the 3 biblical festivals that we have that's written in Torah. Torah is the 5 books of Moses. It's the first part of the Hebrew Bible that is the same as in the Christian Bible. And originally, Passover was the spring harvest festival. So it was called Chag HaAviv, and it was when we would celebrate the ingathering of the barley, and our ancestors would take some offerings of their new crops to the temple in Jerusalem and make a contribution there. Of course, after our enslavement in Egypt, it came to be Passover. In Hebrew, we say Pesach, in which we celebrate the liberation of our ancestors from slavery in Egypt.
So there's a lot going on because you have the bringing of the barley and then the freedom that eventually happens, and so you combine the two and you get this incredible. Are there any traditions that are exactly the same from those biblical times?
Well, the idea of sitting down and having a meal to commemorate the Exodus is exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So from the time of the Exodus itself, we're instructed in Torah to commemorate the evening with a festival meal. And in antiquity, our ancestors would eat lamb, and they would eat the lamb to remember the marking of the doorposts of the house with the lamb's blood to protect them from the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death. So most people don't eat lamb today. It's for a whole other complicated reason. A lot of families have chicken and brisket and all kinds of other delicious things. But at the core, we maintain the idea of teaching our children about the Exodus and what it means, and teaching it as a statement of the principle, the larger human principle of human dignity, freedom, and liberation.
And that's kind of a tradition that all of us share, really. Mm-hmm. All mankind share, because everybody wants that.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. We see this as a universal message that teaches the idea that no human being was meant to live as a slave. No human being was meant to live a life of suffering and indentured servitude, and that every human being has a God-given right to live a life of dignity and freedom.
Well, I'll tell you what, what is your favorite outside? There's the learning, there's the food, and it's kind of a combination of things, I'm sure, but what is your favorite thing that you look forward to? You say, oh, yes, Passover.
Oh, that's hard. Definitely, my favorite thing, of course, is my mom's matzo ball soup.
Okay.
Because anyone who doesn't say that is in big trouble at the holidays. So whichever parent or grandparent produces your matzo ball soup, that is definitely what you think of as the best matzo balls and matzo ball soup ever. So I always look forward to that. But really, Passover for many people is one of their favorite holidays because we spend so much time with our families. It's one of the only holidays that's observed in the home rather than at the synagogue or with the larger community. And so for me, I really look forward to being around the table with my family, telling the same goofy jokes that we tell every year. And, you know, my family has a tradition of always screaming out really loud, Avadim Hayenu, we were slaves. It's the shtick that we do. So just being with my family and remembering the people who are not with us anymore and welcoming in the new little cousins and all the generations who have joined us. So it's really, you know, food, family, and history and continuity. That's my favorite part.
And one last thing, and that is that at the Temple Emmanuel, do you have any special services or anything that people can come and maybe learn more?
Absolutely. We actually are not having services tonight, Friday night services. We will be having Saturday morning services tomorrow morning, and we're going to be studying the Song of Songs for our Torah study at 9 a.m., which is one of the scrolls that we traditionally read at Passover. So we're going to be studying that instead of our usual section of Torah. And unfortunately, tomorrow evening, we do have a huge Passover celebration for the congregation, but we are sold out. However, you can go to DZ Aikens and experience all of the great Passover foods and sign up early for next year's Community Seder at Temple Emmanuel.
Now, it is so marvelous having you, and of course, a lot of people, some people might say, a woman rabbi, is that an unusual thing or no? No.
It depends what community that you're in. In the Reform Jewish community, it's not such an unusual thing. It's more and more common. In conservative Judaism as well, it's becoming more and more common and Reconstructionist. In Orthodoxy and modern Orthodoxy, it's a much less common thing, obviously. There is in modern Orthodoxy a move towards ordaining a few women. They've taken the title of Maharat rather than rabbi to not upset some of the more traditionalist voices. But we're slowly making our way out into the world. So
sometimes freedom takes a little bit of extra time.
It does. You know, we always joke it took us 40 years to go on a 2-week walk through the desert. So change happens slowly, and 40 years, 400 years, eventually we'll get to equality and liberation.
Rabbi Devorah and Marcus, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Learned a lot today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. You're watching